Yeah. Very good afternoon, Kirti. Very good afternoon, everyone. Now, there was like slight adjustment with respect to the screen. Now I have adjusted. Now it should be fine. Yeah, it is fine. Just give me the confirmation if audio, video, and everything is fine. Just give me the confirmation in the chat box. Then we will begin. So meanwhile, others also join. Now the entire window is working fine. Okay. I have rechecked it through my device. Yes. Yeah. Very good afternoon, Gaurav. Yeah, Vishu. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. Now, let us begin formally. See, today's session is session number 21. We are we are planned to complete this in 37 sessions, and we will complete it, including the current affairs from environment and ecology. So, in this particular session, like in yesterday's discussion, I was telling you that while discussing the climate change, its causes, impacts, and mitigation measures, I told you that once this is done, we are going to take up the international efforts for environmental protection and biodiversity conservation. So, all the efforts at the international level, in the international arena, different bodies, different conventions, different treaties, different NGOs, all of them we are going to cover in an systematic manner combinedly. So that will give us enough information, whatever may be the question. So this information, this brainstorming of information can be utilized at appropriate locations, और उस basis पे हम answer writing कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. So that is my intention, and that is the reason why I have been keeping them, like not discussing them at those locations. I don't want to restrict the scope of them. ठीक. So this particular lecture, as I said, it will be on international efforts for environmental protection and biodiversity conservation. So here what I did is I tried to put them in a tabular form, so that let's have a look at what we are going to learn, what we are going to look at. ठीक है. तो इसलिए I have kept all of them. Some of them may be missing here, but they will be coming in our like day-to-day sessions. In this particular lecture, let us first understand the initial ones, like for example from here to here. Let's try to cover. See, this particular series may go for 2-3 lectures, क्योंकि we are going to cover all the international conventions, treaties, bodies which are concerned with environmental protection and biodiversity conservation. So whatever the information that we are going to learn here, we will be able to put it in different answers of yours. Okay. So first we will be beginning with the Ramsar Convention. See here, everywhere when I like take one particular aspect of this international convention or a body or an NGO or a treaty, I will try to connect it where you can utilize it. See, you might also have taken the names while we are discussing the ecosystems, different types of ecosystems, and biodiversity and environmental degradation. वहाँ पर we have taken the names of these but did not discuss them elaborately. Now that is what we are going to do it here. We are going to discuss them elaborately, what are the provisions of them, and how they are going to help in the protection of the environment and conservation of the biodiversity. Is the learning objective clear? Very good afternoon, Gunjan. Very good afternoon, Neeraj, Abhilash, Daya, everyone, Vishu, and everyone. I cannot take all of your names here. That will takes a lot of time of our class. To all of you, very good afternoon. So let us start and let us enjoy this lecture. Try to learn, try to resolve whatever your doubts are there. Openly you ask me, जैसे ही जो हमारा फिजिकल क्लासेस में जैसे पूछ रहे थे, जैसे आपका इनपुट्स दे रहे थे. So let's keep this even live interaction also alive. Let's interact. Okay, let us learn. So let us begin with the first one, which is a Ramsar Convention. Can you tell me See, there is a little bit of lag between your chat and my lecture, so there is some latency, but anyway we will cope up with that because live में थोड़ा सा latency होता है. ठीक है, we will cope up with that. Can you tell me where we have seen about this Ramsar convention? Do you recall? While particularly studying aquatic ecosystem, in them I have discussed a topic called wetlands and wetland aquatic ecosystem. So there I have discussed about these wetlands. So in them, one of the conservation measures for wetlands, what we have given is there is a convention, international convention, which is known as Ramsar Convention. Okay, so here we will be understanding all about Ramsar Convention and how it is going to help in the conservation of wetland. See, wetland is a very important ecosystem, and in fact it is a transition ecosystem between the terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems, and it is a ecotone. So I'm just trying to recall all the terms related to wetlands, and they have a lot of functions, they have a lot of utilities, but in the last 100 years or so they are being threatened a lot. They are disappearing at a faster rate. So because of this we need to conserve them. So with that idea, we have one international treaty which happened in the year 1971 at a location called Ramsar. It is a city in Iran, an Iranian city called Ramsar. That is the name, like the convention, the treaty has happened in Ramsar. That is the reason why the convention got the name Ramsar Convention. And one more thing. So why it is there? It is for the conservation and sustainable use of the wetlands. That is the reason why we have this convention. Now, this convention was signed on 2nd February of 1979. That is the reason why every year 2nd February we generally celebrate as World Wetland Day. Please remember this fact, very important for prelims. ठीक है, जब करंट अफेयर्स कवर करेंगे तब ये वाला डे सेलिब्रेट करते हैं, वहां पर भी ये वाला एलिमेंट आएगा, बट एनीवे वहां पर इतना डीपली नहीं जाऊंगा, जस्ट नाम बता के आगे चला जाएंगे. ओके, एंड दिस कन्वेंशन हैज ऑलमोस्ट 170 members. And what is the theme behind this? What is the ultimate goal or aim of this convention? It is to uphold the philosophy of wise use of wetlands. So इसी पे एक बार मेंस में क्वेश्चन आया था, रामसर कन्वेंशन एंड वाइज यूज ऑफ वेटलैंड्स, इट्स रिलेवेंस, उस पे क्वेश्चन आ गया था. नाउ लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ वाइज यूज, एंड बाय दैट what we are going to do. See, wetlands, as I said, it has two functions. Like, it has many functions, but we can broadly divide them into two categories. One is ecological one, another one is economic and social functions. It also has that. Now, we wanted to bring a balance between these two functions. We wanted to maintain the ecological character of the wetland. At the same time, we wanted to ensure the sustainable development so that we can get some economic benefits out of that wetland, because wetlands provide lot of services. Resources हो सकता है या recreation हो सकता है. These ecosystem services we have already studied. So that is the meaning here. So thereby, what is the meaning of wetland wise use? Wise use is maintenance of ecological character of a wetland. At the same time, we will be ensuring the sustainable development. So with that idea, we have this convention. Now, what is the need for such a convention? As I said, these wetlands, they are of very, very importance in the ecosystem because they have huge diversity and they support a lot of organisms. And at the same time, they provide many ecosystem services, including the fresh water supply for drinking, irrigation purpose के लिए, food and building material, or biodiversity. Lot of biodiversity is there, and flood control. See, if you can recall, one of the functions of a wetland is acting as a buffer to control the flood. Whenever there is excess of water, these wetlands will take that excess of water and reduce the chance of having a flood. And groundwater recharge, thereby ensuring the good amount of groundwater. And climate change mitigation also, if there is a sound wetland, it will reduce any adverse impacts of the climate change. So that is the need of it, that is the use of it, that is the significance of it. Now jab itna significance hai, and ironically in the last 100 years, the number of wetlands, they are being constantly reducing, they are disappearing, they are being threatened due to many anthropogenic activities. It may be human habitation like settlements, encroachment for irrigation land or for agriculture, for any other purposes. So as a result, your wetlands are declining constantly. So under these circumstances, as they have such a huge significance, it has become absolute necessity to conserve them. That is the reason why there is an international convention for conserving them. Is that clear? Yahan tak clear? Is there any doubt in that? Now, apart from this, we have like what is the meaning of wetland? What is the definition of wetland? See, this definition of wetland I have defined in your ecosystem also, wetland ecosystem also. You just go through that recorded session or go through that lecture. There I said there is a broader definition, like all the lakes, rivers where the water is on top of the surface, or there is a stagnant water, or even the water table is at the surface. Even that also includes, even if there is a flowing water like a river, that also comes under the definition of wetland. So here also under the Ramsar Convention, we have a broad definition of wetland. It includes all the lakes, rivers and aquifers, swamps, marshes, peaty lands, wet grasslands, all of them, estuaries, deltas, all of them have been considered under wetland so that we can better conserve them. So this definition has been widened the scope of a wetland under the Ramsar. Now under this convention, what we are going to do, what the parties are committed to do. See, they have their certain goals. What are they? The first one is wise use of all the wetlands, like maintaining its ecological character, at the same time using the sustainable development to get the economic and social benefits out of the wetland. That is the first commitment. Apart from that, designate suitable wetlands as a list of wetlands under this Ramsar Convention, which are known as wetlands of international importance. So these are also simply called as Ramsar list, Ramsar site. Once this designation is given, they will be getting extra protection for their effective management and conservation. So that is second thing, like demarcating and designating them as wetlands of international importance. So they will get a lot of conservation. Conservation will be done on them. Then apart from that, cooperate internationally. Like there are some wetlands which are transboundary. See, if there is a country, let me take the example of, like, see, okay, let me give this example. A disputed area is there between India and Pakistan. Okay, the relations are not so sound, so this example may be bad, but let us take it. So here we have a wetland or some of the estuaries like Sar Creek estuary and all. Now they are also ecologically very important, but they are like disputed है. तो अगर मान लेते हैं कि disputed नहीं है और टू कंट्रीज के बीच में, लेट अस टेक, हाँ ओके, दिस विल बी गुड एग्जांपल. ये वाला थोड़ा डिस्प्यूटेड है, इट्स नॉट ए गुड एग्जांपल. लेट अस गो टू द ईस्टर्न साइड वेयर वी हैव between India and Bangladesh, we have Sundarban Delta, which is transboundary. India में भी है, Bangladesh में भी है. Now in order to conserve that entire delta, coordinated efforts of India as well as Bangladesh is needed, right? So that is a good example for this. So there are some transboundary wetlands whose conservation is shared responsibility of 2 or more countries. तो ऐसे टाइम पे they can coordinate in principles with your Ramsar Convention. That is the third commitment. Is that clear? No, the stream is good. Deepanshu, is there any issue, guys? The stream is working fine, no problem at all. See, once again, I'm reminding you, if there is any issue, if the video get passed, or if there is like connectivity issue, simply reload it. It may be from your end. Network issue हो सकता है, तो simply reload it, it will work. Deepanshu, just reload and confirm. It's working fine. See, look at this. In my device, it is working fine. I'm just keep on checking it, whether it is working or not. Okay. Yes. क्या हुआ है? Is there any issue? Niraj, what do you mean by no, sir? Issue है या नहीं है? It's working smooth, or is it like having any issue? Daya, everyone is saying no, maybe asking about India-Pak relations. अच्छा अच्छा, वो एग्जाम्पल से रिलेटेड पूछ रहे हो. सी द एग्जाम्पल वाई सर क्रीक यूस्टरी आई हैव नॉट टेकन बिकॉज इट इज अ डिस्प्यूटेड एरिया. तो वहां पर कोऑपरेशन इतना स्ट्रांगली नहीं है इंडिया और पाकिस्तान का. दैट्स व्हाई आई सेड कि इट इज अ बैड एग्जाम्पल. लेट अस गो टू द अनदर एग्जाम्पल. दैट इज वेयर आई हैव गिवन सुंदरबंस एज ए गुड एग्जाम्पल ऑफ ट्रांस बाउंडरी वेटलैंड्स. ठीक है. ओके ओके, थैंक यू फॉर कंफर्मेशन. ठीक. ओके, ग्रेट ग्रेट. Yes. Now this is the commitment. This is the main aim of this Ramsar Convention. Now under this Ramsar Convention, we have a list of Ramsar sites. List of Ramsar sites. That means all the wetlands, like not all, but which are important, they will be designated as a Ramsar site. Thereby they will be getting extra protection and they will be conserved. Now in the same, there is one more record which we need to remember. It is very important record which is known as Montreux record. So what is a Montreux record? It is simply a register of wetlands, okay, and where the changes in its ecological character are occurring, have already occurred, are going to occur. मतलब प्रेजेंट, पास्ट एंड फ्यूचर तीनों टाइम स्केल्स को लेकर देख रहा है. वेदर इफ देर इज एनी चेंज इन द इकोलॉजिकल कैरेक्टर ऑफ दैट वेटलैंड, if that is happening or if that may happen in the future, then such a wetland will be added to this register so that it gets extra protection even beyond that Ramsar site. So that is the significance of this Montreux record. इंडिया में एक टाइम पे we will look at list of all the Ramsar sites in India. इंडिया में एक टाइम पे in this Montreux record, 2 of them were there, Chilka Lake and Loktak Lake. Then Chilka has been removed from that Montreux record. As of now there is only one lake, one Ramsar site in the Montreux record in India. ठीक है. Please remember these smaller facts. ठीक है. कई बार ये smaller facts जो है वो अपना preliminary examination में कुछ जो statement elimination वगैरह में काम आ जाता है. Now in this organization, in this convention, there are some international organizations which are working as partners. Let us look at them. इस basis पे भी एक बार question बना था, like which of the following international organizations are partners in Ramsar Convention? See, one of them is BirdLife International. We will look at what is BirdLife International, what is the function of it. It conducts a bird census. ठीक है. So we will look at it. Then IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature. We will study about this as well. Then International Water Management Institution, Wetland International, WWF, Worldwide Wildlife Fund. ठीक है. And similarly International Wildfowl and Wetlands Trust. These are the 6 formal partners of Ramsar Convention. Apart from that, there are many other as well, but these 6 are important. Remaining ones, just give a brief reading of this, like CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity, then Convention to Combat Desertification, Then similarly CMS, it is also known as Bonn Convention. ऐसे कुछ और है sites वगैरह, ये these are also like some of the other partners, but ये इतना नहीं important है, but those 6 please remember them. ठीक. Now here the funding is done by various groups. Even NGOs can fund it, even the private individuals can fund Ramsar sites conservation. And apart from that, among the UN agencies, UNEP and UNDP, both of them are going to fund. Okay? So this is all about the history of Ramsar Convention, why it came into being, and what is the commitment under it, how many parties are there, then what are the close partners of Ramsar Convention, what is the meaning of a wetland according to Ramsar Convention, what is a Ramsar list, and what is a Montreux record. These are the things we have understood. Now let us look at Ramsar sites in India. See, as of now, till yesterday, till 15th November 2026 or 16th November 2026, we have currently in India 46 sites. See, earlier 42 the, and then like latest 4 sites have been added to Ramsar sites. Now we have 46. Okay, so in these 46, yeah, 46 hai. So in these 46, yes, Daya, as of now 46 are there. So latest added ones I have highlighted here, look at them. 2 sites from Haryana, Sultanpur and Bindawas Wildlife Sanctuary, both of them have been added to Ramsar wetlands. And similarly 2 sites from Gujarat, Tol and Wadwana. See, if you can recall, इस बार Wadwana के बारे में there was a question in UPSC prelims 2021. So it is a salt water lake. ठीक है, तो अगर ये वाला इंफॉर्मेशन भी पता है तो यू कुड सॉल्व दैट पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन. ठीक है, आसान से बन जाता है वो. ठीक, क्योंकि 1 ऑप्शन वाला था. ठीक है, these are all the 4 new sites which were added. About them I'll discuss under current affairs. ठीक है, उनका डिस्क्रिप्शन के बारे में I'll discuss separately. करंट अफेयर्स जब डील करूंगा तब ये चारों के बारे में. Rest of the things like I have given all the 46. Just go through the names. Astamudi, Bias, Baitar Kanika, बोज वेटलैंड, चंद्रताल, चिल्का लेक. देखो यहाँ पर लोकेशन बेसिस पे भी आपका क्वेश्चन आएगा. चिल्का लेक ओडिशा, दीपोर बील असम. बील करके कभी भी आप नाम सुनते हो, इट लिटरली गोज टू असम, क्योंकि लोकल लैंग्वेज में बील का मतलब है झील. ठीक है. देन ईस्ट कोलकाता वेटलैंड, हारिके, ठीक है, होकेरा, कांजली, कियोलाडो गाना नेशनल पार्क. This is an important one because it is man-made and man-maintained wetland. It's in Rajasthan. ठीक है. We will look at some of the important Ramsar sites in a moment. Now look at the names. So just go through the names and their location and the state in which they are located. So with that, your location information will be served, and if any question comes based on the location, you will be able to answer it properly. ठीक. And यहाँ पर देखो, I have given you some of the important sites. से location भी दिया है. This is not updated one, but state wise some of them are there. हरियाणा missing है, हरियाणा update कर लो. ठीक है, from Haryana the recently added ones and all update कर लो. It's just for representation. You can put them in the map and try to remember their locations. This location is going to help you in solving your preliminary questions. Now let us look at some of the notable Ramsar sites in India and their characteristics or the remarks about them. I'm not going to discuss all of them, but only few of them which have been asked in the past by the UPSC or which have a scope to be asked in the UPSC examination. ऐसे कुछ compile करके रखा हूँ. Just look at here. The first one is Astamudi wetland. It is in Kerala and it is known for what? Backwaters. Whenever we talk about Kerala, their Kayals, please recall the name Kayals करके मैं बताया था एक बार. These are backwaters in Kerala. So it is one of such backwater one. And see, in that Astamudi lake, It forms an estuary with the sea, which is known as Neendakara, and it is very famous for fishing, okay, in Kerala. So that information, please remember according to it. Then let us go to Baitar Kanika. Yes, most of them are coastal Harit, and some of them are hinterland also. For example, Sambar is land hinterland one. Keoladu Gana is hinterland one. Loktak is hinterland one. See, it is obviously understood वेटलैंड्स या यूस्टरीज या लेक्स वगैरह जो है कोस्टल एरियाज में बनने का ज्यादा चांस होता है, तो ऑब्वियसली सम ऑफ देम आर कोस्टल, एट द सेम टाइम सम ऑफ देम आर बैक वाटर। का मतलब है दया लाइक फ्रॉम द ओशन इट इज कमिंग बैक, लाइक सलाइन वाटर्स, ठीक है, द बैक वाटर्स व्हेन दे आर इंट्रूडिंग इनटू दिस हिंटरलैंड, सच वाटर्स वी कॉल देम एज बैक वाटर्स, ठीक। नाउ बैतार कनिका, यू माइट हैव सीन इट इन द न्यूज, it's always in the news because of olive ridley turtles. There is mass nesting of olive ridley turtles in these beaches of Baitarkanika mangroves, and there is this Gaharmita marine wildlife sanctuary in this particular one, okay, and it has been like mentioned as Ramsar wetland, and it is also famous for saltwater crocodiles. So this is the characteristics of Baitarkanika wetland. Similarly, Bose wetland. See, it is located in the city of Bhopal. It consists of two lakes. One is Bose Tal, another one is Lower Lake. And please remember, it is a human-made reservoir, man-made. क्योंकि ऐसे क्वेश्चंस भी आया है. I remember it's in 2019, I think. तीन चार ऐसे देकर उसमें से पूछा है विच वन इज नेचुरल और विच वन इज मैन मेड, ऐसे पूछने का भी चांस है, या एक स्टेटमेंट भी आ सकता है. सो ऐसे मैन मेड वाला पे थोड़ा सा याद रख लो, बाकी ऑल ऑफ देम आर नेचुरल, ठीक. इसे मैन मेड वन, एंड इट इज नोन फॉर द लार्जेस्ट बर्ड ऑफ इंडिया विच इज सारस क्रेन. आई हैव शोन यू द इमेज ऑफ सारस क्रेन. इट कैन ग्रो अप टू इवन 5 feet also, ठीक. So that is all about Bose wetland. Then Chilka. Chilka is also, you might have known by now already. It's a very important lagoon. So what is the meaning of lagoon? Thoda sa opening towards the ocean, open ocean. So as a result, there will be exchange of the salinity, and that lake is saline. And it is the biggest saline lake in India. Okay? And it is located in the coastal Odisha. Okay? And here look at it, this is the first site which has been added to the Ramsar convention. At one point of time it was also put under this Montreux record, then later it has been removed, okay, क्योंकि it was, its ecological character was changing, that's when it put, and then when it was restored then it was removed. क्योंकि putting under Montreux record it will have some restrictions with respect to some of the activities. It may be tourism or recreational or developmental activities, ठीक है, क्योंकि ज्यादा प्रोटेक्शन मिलने लगेगा. And this particular one is known for dolphins, particularly Irrawaddy dolphin, ठीक है. So that dolphin is it's a habitat of these dolphins, that's why it is important, ठीक. So this is all about Chilka Lake. Then Dipor Bill, see Assam में है. Beal, I told you Beal matlab go to Assam, and it is a freshwater lake, please remember that. Then again this one, East Calcutta wetland, it is an urban facility for treating the city's wastewater. From there this wetland has formed. Then Keoladu Gana, like I told you, this is a man-made and man-maintained one. It was placed in Montreux record in 1990, okay. Then another thing related to this is Siberian crane, and add this, it is man-made and man-maintained. सेम इसी स्टेटमेंट पे एक बार क्वेश्चन भी आ गया था, maintained wetland. So that is the fact related to this. Then Koleru, it is also a bird sanctuary, wildlife sanctuary, okay. It was a lagoon. Now earlier it is a lagoon, it was like having that opening towards the mouth, but nowadays it has like inland, it has become an inline, and because of the emergence of the coastline. And you know that कहाँ पर है ये, you might have heard about this Sriharikota island from where we will be launching many of rockets. So वो वाला island जो है इसका vicinity में ही है, ठीक. So that is Koler Lake, Andhra Pradesh. Then Loktak Lake. See, Loktak Lake is again very important one. कई बार इसके बारे में क्वेश्चंस आया है. It's located in Manipur, northeastern region, Manipur, and it is famous for Kibul Lamjo National Park. And what is the speciality of it? See, इसमें there are like locally known floating vegetation called pumdis. See, what are pumdis? They are floating vegetation. On this water they will be floating, and here there is one particularly like interesting species, like Loktak का lake का एक species है. We will learn about the species and its conservation status and all. Just have a look at this pumdis. Pumdis of Loktak. So if you can have a look at this, you will be able to remember it for longer period. See, ऐसे floating vegetations are there, ठीक, on this Loktak Lake. In this you have this particular vulnerable one, which is, see, where is this vegetation? I have kept this, yes, Singai, ठीक. So this is a particular species in that wetland. What is that wetland? Loktak Lake. Let me write. It is in which location? Manipur में है, and it is known for floating vegetation which is called pumdis, ठीक. So this is all, like, and here there is an important species known as Singai. Singai festival भी celebrate करते हैं in order to create awareness about its conservation, ठीक. So that's all the information, important facts related to Loktak. Now let us go to Nal Sarovar Birdlife Sanctuary, ठीक है. See, some facts related to it, and it has like wild ass, Indian wild ass is also there, and black buck is also there, and it is very important migratory location for many species including flamingos also, and thousands of migratory waterfowls, birds, they migrate to here during the monsoon season, ठीक. Then Point Calimere, it is in Tamil Nadu, ठीक, and it's like it is one of the last remnants of dry evergreen forest. They are found here, okay? And winter migratory birds do come here. So these are some of the winter migratory birds, and that is why it is important. Then yeah, Godavari basin, that is true. See, any trick to remember all these sites? See, this happens like, imagine whenever I'm talking about a particular one, imagine the location and try to know about its characteristic features, then automatically वो memorize हो जाएगा, and you will be repeating about them enough number of times. You don't have to like memorize, automatically वो हो जाएगा, automatically आ जाएगा, ठीक है. Then Sambar Lake, it is from Rajasthan, and it is the largest inland salt lake. Inland, अगर वैसे नॉर्मली लार्जेस्ट साल्ट लेक बताना है तो इट विल बी चिल्का, but inland largest inland salt lake is Sambar Lake, okay, and it is known for these flamingo birds, ठीक है. That is one important thing. It is in Rajasthan. Then Somiriri Lake, it is a fresh water to brackish lake क्योंकि salinity change होता है, and here you have some of the like important species such as black-necked crane and Tibetan wild ass or great Tibetan sheep, or it is also known as argali, ठीक. So these species are there. This is not so important, but still let us cover it. Then Upper Ganga river, ठीक है. This is very important one because it is an important habitat for two endangered species. One is Gangetic dolphin, river dolphin, another one is Gharial, ठीक. Please remember this, it's a important one. दोनों के ऊपर, गैंगेटिक रिवर डॉल्फिन के ऊपर और घड़ियाल के ऊपर, दोनों के ऊपर क्वेश्चंस आया था प्रीलिम्स में. देन वेम्बनाड कोल वेटलैंड, इट इज इन लाइक केरला, and this wetland is also known for like this conducting that boat race. ठीक है, केरला में बोट रेस कंडक्ट करते हैं, उसके लिए इट इज नोन फॉर इट. एंड देयर इज अ ट्रॉफी कॉल्ड नेहरू boat racing trophy. And see, variety of fishes are there, exotic fishes are there. I forgot the name of the particular fish which is found in this particular wetland, but I have shown you earlier in one of the classes. I forgot the name of it. And it is also known for paddy fields which are grown below the sea level. ठीक है, यहाँ पर even salt tolerant paddy variety has also been found. We will cover that in the current affairs. ठीक है, so that is another important one. And then Wular Lake, largest freshwater lake in India, it is in your Jammu and Kashmir, and it is also known for like boat houses, tourism and all. It is known for it. So that's the significance of some of the important wildlife Ramsar sites in India. ठीक है, यहाँ तक क्लियर. So with that, what we have covered: what is a Ramsar site, what is Montrix record, what are the important Ramsar sites in India and their characteristics, a total number of Ramsar sites and their locations. This we have covered. Now where you can use this information, prelims direct questions आएंगे यहाँ पर, mains में wherever wetland related questions आता है वहां पर conservation of wetland, definitely there should be 1 point on Ramsar convention. Okay, and flood mitigation वहां पर भी you can write about it. Biodiversity conservation वहां पर भी you can write 1 point from wetland conservation. ठीक है, so that is how you can link it in different aspects. Is the topic clear? If it is clear, let us go to the next one. If any doubt, please put it in the comment box. If it is clear, just give me the confirmation. Let us go ahead to the next important convention, which is sites. Yes, any doubts here? Okay, thank you. Others, if you have any doubt related to wetlands, great. Yeah, tilapia, maybe. Cool. Okay, now any other doubts, guys? All of you can respond. ठीक है. Okay, in between also, if you get any doubt, you just put it in the comment box. I'll address it. Now let us go to the next one, which is CITES. So what is the full form of CITES? See, it is a convention on international trade in endangered species of wild fauna and flora. That is the full form of CITES. See, it is an international agreement. Why? In order to like regulate and also you can say also to facilitate the international trade in the species, particularly if the species are endangered, then we have to take certain measures for their conservation. Otherwise उनका illegal trade हो सकता है या poaching हो सकता है, उनका hunting हो सकता है, that might further threaten them and they may go extinct. उनको बचाने के लिए there was this treaty, and it was drafted as a resolution adopted in 1963 under the ambit of IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature. We will study about IUCN as well. And here, look at this. It came into force in 1975. It has 183 parties. What is the main aim of it? Please remember, is aim पे एक बार question आया था. What is the aim of CITES? It is to ensure international trade in some specimens of wild animals and plants is not going to threaten, is not going to make them vulnerable for their survival. So that is the main aim. Even if we are doing trade in those specimens of wild plants and animals, it should not threaten their survival. That is the ultimate aim of CITES. So under this, it is a binding one. Please remember, it is a legally binding one. Okay, that means each and every country which has ratified, which has taken this, they have to follow the principles. However, binding का मतलब ये नहीं कि वो coerce करेंगे आपके ऊपर. Each and every state is independent and sovereign, so हर एक country का अपना law बनाने का freedom होता है. So it will only, sites will only give you the directions, guidelines in which manner you have to conserve. So वो वाला मिलेगा. It is not going to coerce you. And its secretary is located at Geneva, Switzerland, and it is administered by the same UNEP, United Nations Environmental Program. Okay, and as I said, it is legally binding on the parties but does not take the place of the national laws. National laws will be intact, they will be in force. It only provides the framework or the guidelines to each member party so that it can adopt its own domestic legislations to ensure the sites and its provisions are being implemented at the national level. ठीक है, इसी बेसिस पे हमारे पास भी वी हैव वाइल्ड लाइफ प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट. उसमें भी वी हैव सम शेड्यूल्स, शेड्यूल 1, शेड्यूल 2, शेड्यूल 3 अप टू शेड्यूल 5, 6. ठीक है, उसमें वेरियस डिग्री ऑफ प्रोटेक्शन देते हैं हम स्पीसीज को. इन द सेम मैनर यहाँ पर भी अपेंडिक्सेस होता है, अपेंडिक्स 1 एनिमल, अपेंडिक्स 2 एनिमल, अपेंडिक्स 3 एनिमल. उस तरीके से इन ए मोमेंट आई विल एक्सप्लेन what kind of protection will be given to these appendix animals. So before that, let us see the function of CITES, what CITES actually does. See, it works by subjecting international trade in specimens of selected species to certain regulations, certain controls, so that the trade in them is not going to hamper their survival. That is the first function. Second is all import, export or re-export or introduction of the species which are covered under this convention they have to be authorized to a license system. इसमें भी वेरियस डिग्रीज होता है एक्सपोर्ट और इंपोर्ट के लिए. कई बार ऐसे होता है, लेट मी से, देयर इज अ कंट्री ए, देयर इज कंट्री बी, देयर इज कंट्री सी. नाउ जनरली एक्सपोर्ट पे there are certain regulations, stricter regulations. इंपोर्ट पे इतना नहीं होता है. लेकिन यहां पर देखो, यहां से एक्सपोर्ट किया है एंड दिस कंट्री हैज इंपोर्टेड. नाउ इंपोर्ट करने के बाद इट मे बी री एक्सपोर्टिंग इट टू सम अदर कंट्री, तो उस पे भी देयर विल बी सर्टेन कंट्रोलिंग मेजर्स, देयर विल बी सर्टेन रेगुलेशंस, सो दैट वो पर्टिकुलर वाइल्ड लाइफ स्पीसीज जो है उनका सर्वाइवल, उनका लाइफ थ्रेटन ना हो. सो दैट इज द फंक्शन. Now, as I said, there are appendices 1, 2, 3 to this convention. So each of them, they have a list of species which will be providing protection to various degree so that their over exploitation can be reduced. Okay? So that is the function of CITES. Now let us look at this appendix 1, appendix 2, appendix 3 and what is the ambit of it, how various degree of protection is provided under it. Before that, why countries will sign in the conventions and what benefits will the parties get. See, each and every country has a commitment to conserve these species. That is the reason why they sign in the first place. Second, domestically also, for example, India, we have Project Elephant, we have Project Tiger, we have Project Dolphin, we have Project Crocodile. We wanted to conserve them. दे आर कीस्टोन स्पीसीज. अगर वो यहाँ से एक्सटेंट हो गया तो इकोलॉजिकल इम्बैलेंस हो जाएगा, वो बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है हमारे लिए. वी वांटेड टू कंजर्व देम. अगर कंजर्व करना है, वी नीड इंटरनेशनल कोऑपरेशन आल्सो. वी नीड नियर बाई कंट्रीज और द कंट्रीज विथ विच वी हैव सच ट्रेड इन दो स्पीसीज, उनका भी कोऑपरेशन चाहिए, वरना तो इलीगली ट्रेडिंग हो जाएगा. देन यू मे नॉट बी एबल टू चेक देम, यू मे नॉट बी एबल टू प्रोटेक्ट देम. इसीलिए कोऑपरेट करते हैं. ठीक है. Similarly, cross-country cooperations. So that is the reason why we wanted to do. Or coming to the benefits, you know this, to save the biodiversity, to enrich that biodiversity so that we can reap the benefits of its services and to bring the ecological balance. That is the main goal, right? If you wanted to conserve biodiversity, why we are conserving? So that we can take advantage of those resources and we can bring the balance. Harit, is it clear? Yes, Neeraj. Okay. Now let us see the appendixes and let us look at what are the various degrees of protections that we get under this. The first appendix 1, see, it considers or it has a list of all the most endangered species. मतलब जिसका IUCN स्टेटस में लेवल ऑफ लेवल ऑफ थ्रेट जो है एंडेंजर्ड और क्रिटिकली एंडेंजर्ड और नियर एक्सटिंक्ट, इतना मोस्ट एंडेंजर्ड वाले जो होते हैं उन सबको इस लिस्ट में रखा है, all the plants and animals. So it consists like 931. This list is not updated, maybe some changes might be there, you cross verify it. And वैसे number याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं, just concept याद रखो. And here what is the protection that they will be getting? Please remember this one, this is important. See, they will be prohibited, like sites will prohibit the international trade in them generally for commercial purposes. मतलब पैसे कमाने के लिए, इकोनॉमिक पर्पस के लिए इनको प्रमोट नहीं करते हैं. बट एक्सेप्शंस है, कुछ एक्सेप्शंस. फॉर एग्जांपल, द एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ ए पर्टिकुलर स्पेसिमेन इज एक्सेप्टेड अंडर द साइट्स ओनली इफ इट इज फॉर साइंटिफिक रिसर्च or for the conservation of species. For example, let me give this example. India is going to reintroduce cheetah क्योंकि Indian cheetah got extinct. अब we are trying to collaborate with Africa, with Arabian countries, ताकि वहां से चीता को इंडिया में reintroduce करें. So that is for the conservation of the species. So that will be promoted. That will not be stopped. That will not be regulated. लेकिन अगर if any particular country का कुछ persons है, they wanted to export one particular animal, let us say pangolin is there, Indian pangolin which is endangered. Now somebody wants to export it to China because Chinese traditional medicine में उसको use करते हैं, उसका scales जो है उसको use करते हैं. That is for the commercial purpose, that will endanger the species, इसलिए उसको रेगुलेट करते हैं, उसको मना करते हैं. ठीक है. सो दैट इज द एग्जाम्पल. ओके, क्लियर. नाउ अपेंडिक्स 2. अपेंडिक्स 2 में क्या है? इसमें भी है थ्रेटन स्पीसीज, बट कंपेयर टू अपेंडिक्स 1 इसका लेवल ऑफ थ्रेटन थोड़ा कम है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इट मे बी लीस्ट कंसर्न, इट मे बी वल्नरेबल और नियर थ्रेटन, ऐसे स्पीसीज को यहां पर रखते हैं. ठीक. एंड सी हियर इन दिस पर्टिकुलर वन there is one more topic called look-alike species. What are these? These are the species whose specimens in trade look like those of the species listed for conservation reasons. मतलब उनके जैसे लगता है but actually they are not. तो उनको भी protect करते हैं. So by putting them under your appendix 2, what you are getting, there may be authorized, they may be given the license or granting the permit for export or re-export. But for that they have to take the certificate, they have to take the permission. अगर permission नहीं है then उसको, वो particular species को नहीं export कर सकते हो, उसमें trade नहीं कर सकते हो. ठीक है. So that is one point. ठीक है. And some species generally, ये जो species export करने के लिए permit चाहिए, export A से B पे हो रहा है. So if there is export in the A, then obviously in B it will be import. So मतलब उस पर्टिकुलर स्पीसीज को इंपोर्ट करने के लिए सर्टिफिकेट नहीं चाहिए, लेकिन एक्सपोर्ट करने के लिए या री एक्सपोर्ट करने के लिए डेफिनेटली देयर इज ए नेसेसिटी फॉर द सर्टिफिकेट. यू हैव टू टेक द परमिशन एंड दैट विल बी मॉनिटर्ड सो दैट दे आर नॉट बीइंग मिसयूज्ड, देयर लाइफ इज नॉट थ्रेटन्ड, दैट विल बी एंश्योर्ड. सो दैट आर द स्पीसीज अंडर योर अपेंडिक्स 2. नाउ देयर इज अनदर वन, अपेंडिक्स 3. इसमें क्या होता है? इट इंक्लूड्स लिस्ट ऑफ स्पीसीज at the request of the party. Like for example, I was giving the example of India. We have various projects to conserve. For example, let me take another one, Great Indian Bustard. It's a bird particularly found in your Desertic National Park. और वहां पर उसको कंजर्व करने के लिए we have various initiatives. But इनका hunting भी होता है. Recently it was in the news. Pakistani hunters, they were hunting this. And then there was like India has shown the concerns. हम प्रोटेक्ट कर रहा है, उसका पॉपुलेशन कम हो रहा है और हंटिंग करना सही नहीं है. ठीक है. सो ऐसे टाइम पे व्हाट वी कैन डू, क्योंकि जो लॉस इंडिया में एप्लीकेबल है दे मे नॉट बी एप्लीकेबल इन पाकिस्तान, बट इफ इंडिया रिक्वेस्ट साइट्स पे एक रिक्वेस्ट देते हैं, बोलते हैं कि ग्रेट इंडियन बस्टर्ड स्पीसीज जो है उसको प्रोटेक्शन देना है, उसको यू पुट इट इन योर अपेंडिक्स स्पीसीज, then that will be added to this list, and as a result it will be given some extra protection. Now the country which is member of CITES, since this particular species has been added, so even in that country also these regulations will be there, and that citizens of that country cannot hunt, cannot hurt them, cannot trade in them. So such species are added in your appendix 3. Is that clear? So this is all about your appendix 1 and 2 and 3. Now species, they may be added to appendix 1 or 2 or removed from it, or there might be inter movement appendix 1 से 2 पे, 2 से 1 पे, ये सारी चीजें कर सकते हैं, but only by the conference of parties. This is the body which takes decisions for CITES. अगर वो हाँ बोलेंगे तब भी, वरना तो अपना मर्जी से नहीं कर सकते. लेकिन थर्ड स्पीसीज में जो है वो इट इज द रिक्वेस्ट ऑफ द पार्टी, इट इज द रिक्वेस्ट ऑफ ए पर्टिकुलर कंट्री. वो एट एनी पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम उनको बोल भी सकते हैं कि भाई अब हटा दो, इसमें से रिमूव कर दो. ठीक है, सो इट इज वॉलंटरी वन फ्रॉम ए पर्टिकुलर कंट्री. बट फर्स्ट एंड सेकंड में जो है उसको एक्स्ट्रा प्रोटेक्शन मिलता है. अगर वहां पर कुछ भी चेंजेस चाहिए तो सारे जो सीओपी होता है, कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑफ पार्टीज जो होता है, उन सब का हाँ चाहिए. ठीक है, उनका कहने पे ही you can make the changes. So that is how you will be getting the protection under CITES. और coming to this, कहाँ यूज कर सकते हैं? बायोडाइवर्सिटी कंजर्वेशन में, and illegal trading of the species, poaching, hunting, international trade of endangered species. हर जगह पे जहां पर बायोडाइवर्सिटी कंजर्वेशन करना है, you can bring CITES into picture. You can say CITES is a legally binding one which is वर्किंग टूवर्ड्स कंजर्वेशन ऑफ द स्पीसीज. ठीक है, ऐसे करके एक पॉइंट ऐड कर सकते हैं. इज दैट क्लियर? एनी डाउट्स इन साइट्स? हरित वो वाला पॉइंट क्लियर है. ठीक है, यस, मेडिकल यूज के लिए भी एक्सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं. दैट इज करेक्ट नीरज. यस, इज दैट एंटायर पॉइंट्स क्लियर? If so, let us go to the next convention, which is CBD, or simply the Convention on Biological Diversity. Yes? Any doubts? Appendix 2 again. Okay. See, Appendix 2 simply, Appendix 1 बहुत ही ज्यादा endangered species होंगे, उसमें strict regulation होगा. Appendix 2 है उससे थोड़ा कम. ठीक है, सी IUCN का let me I'll draw it here itself. सी IUCN का जो कंजर्वेशन स्टेटस है, डिफरेंट टैक्स देते हैं. So it may start from not evaluated to extinct. इतना स्टेजेस होता है, टोटल 9 है. See, for example, it may be vulnerable, or it may be least concern, or it may be near threatened, or it may be endangered, or it may be critically endangered, or it may be extinct in the wild. ठीक है, ऐसे डिफरेंट स्टेट्स है. और इसमें ये जो है इसको बहुत ज्यादा थ्रेटन मानते हैं. तो ऐसे ज्यादा थ्रेटेंड, ज्यादा प्रॉब्लमेटिक स्पीसीज जो है उनको अपेंडिक्स 1 में रखेंगे, और थोड़ा कम विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू दिस थ्रेटिंग लेवल जो थोड़ा कम है उसको अपेंडिक्स 2 में रखेंगे. और वहां पर रेगुलेशंस अलग होंगे. 1 में कंप्लीटली प्रोहिबिट करते हैं कोई भी, मतलब देयर इज नो चांस, सर्टिफिकेट देना भी गलत है वहां पर. यू कुड नॉट ट्रेड in the commercial use of these species. ओनली रिसर्च पर्पस के लिए, कंजर्वेशन के लिए आप एक्सपोर्ट कर सकते हो. लेकिन अपेंडिक्स 2 में क्या है गौरव? यहां पर सी हियर एक्सपोर्ट एंड इंपोर्ट इज एक्सेप्टेड, लेकिन उसके लिए आपको परमिशन लेना पड़ेगा, सर्टिफिकेट लेना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ इट. Harit, IUCN, UNDP, I'll discuss. Please be patient. I'll discuss about it. ठीक, दोनों के बारे में डिस्कस करूंगा. We have that in our discussion classes. So यहाँ पर in your sides, if anything is not clear, please tell me. गौरव, इज योर पॉइंट क्लियर? आपका अपेंडिक्स 2 अब समझ में आ गया? बस थोड़ा सा लेस थ्रेटन स्पीसीज को वहां पर रखेंगे और उनको जो प्रोटेक्शन मिलेगा वो कंपेयर टू 1 इस पे थोड़ा कम मिलेगा. यस, एनी अदर डाउट? ओके, गौरव, did you get the point? Okay, still any confusion? Put it in the chat box. Yes. Okay, let us go to the next one, next important convention, that is the Convention on Biological Diversity. Okay, let us understand about it. Here, see, this is for short, which is also known as CBD, not ABD. It's a CBD1, Convention on Biological Diversity. Okay, it is informally known as simply Biological Diversity Act, Biological Diversity Convention. See, the treaty, it is a multilateral treaty. It opened for signature in your Rio Earth Summit. Rio Earth Summit के बारे में भी study करेंगे. It happened in 1992. Okay, in De Janeiro. This is a location. Rio de Janeiro is a location in Brazil. वहां पर हुआ था ये. And the motive of it, see, it was under the ambit of United Nations Environmental Program, UNEP के अंदर ये हुआ था. And please remember some facts related to it. It has almost universal membership. Okay, almost 196 countries are members to this, and India also ratified it. 1992 में ये वाला कन्वेंशन हुआ है. 1994 में इंडिया रेटिफाई कर दिया है, पास कर दिया है. और टू गिव इफेक्ट टू दिस कन्वेंशन, टू कंजर्व दिस बायोलॉजिकल डाइवर्सिटी इन इंडिया, वी आल्सो कम अप विथ एन एक्ट कॉल्ड बायोडाइवर्सिटी एक्ट ऑफ 2002. इसके बारे में अगर नेक्स्ट सेशंस में जो डोमेस्टिक लेवल का एफर्ट्स पढ़ेंगे, डोमेस्टिक लेवल एफर्ट्स, वहां पर बताऊंगा इसका प्रोविजंस क्या है, इसका एक्ट के अंदर व्हाट आर दी पॉइंट्स इन दैट एक्ट. ऑल ऑफ देम वी विल डिस्कस. ठीक. Now, to implement the provisions of this act, even the government established a national body called National Biodiversity Authority, NBA. It's a statutory body which has been formed under Biological Diversity Act. Okay, it's a related information to this CBD. And like CITES, it is also legally binding. लीगली बाइंडिंग का मतलब है कि अगर उस पर्टिकुलर चीज को आप रेटिफाई कर लिया, पास कर लिया, देन यू हैव टू अबाइड बाय द प्रोविजंस ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर कन्वेंशन. दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ लीगली बाइंडिंग. ठीक. एंड हियर लुक एट इट, ओनली 2 मेंबर्स. यूएसए हैज नॉट रैटिफाइड इट, सीबीडी अभी तक नहीं किया था. एंड वेटिकन आर द 2 कंट्रीज व्हिच हैव नॉट साइंड. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, ऑलमोस्ट ऑल कंट्रीज ऑफ यूनाइटेड नेशंस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हैव signed it. That is why it has almost universal membership. Now, under this, it has 3 main goals. CBD has 3 main goals. What are those goals? Number 1, conservation of biodiversity, biological diversity. That is the first goal. Second is the sustainable use of its components. क्योंकि some of the animals, some of the plant species, they have the potential to be commercialized. They have certain functions, social functions, economic functions. So उनको कैसे sustainable manner में हम utilize कर सकते हैं. Then third goal is, अगर हम ऐसे benefits ले रहे हैं, then such benefits has to be like fairly and equitably should be shared. It should be बांटना चाहिए fairly, equitably among all the stakeholders. So that is the third goal of it. So what are the 3 goals? Conservation of biodiversity. Second is the sustainably exploiting the economic uses of it or its components. The third is sharing them fairly and equitably. These are the 3 main goals. Now, when this convention came into being, then it has certain protocols. Convention हो गया है with certain goals, और उस goals में कुछ issues था, उनके लिए एक प्रोटोकॉल, द मैनर इन विच वी हैव टू डू. So ऐसे particularly 2 protocols came into being. The first one is called Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety. I'll explain what is the meaning of this. See, when you are exploiting, commercially exploiting or sustainably exploiting some bioorganisms, there is a possibility that that might have some negative impacts, that might lead to some threats to the humankind or to another species. तो उसको कम करने के लिए you have to take certain safety measures. That is what is emphasized here. It says that CBD covers the rapidly expanding field of biotechnology where certain organisms are being cultured, being mutated, being genetically engineered. When such organisms, by mistake or intentionally or non-intentionally, if they enter into the atmosphere, if they enter into the environment, they will pose a serious threat to the biodiversity. Genetically engineered है, उसमें कुछ कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऐसे हो सकता है which are not being able to control. तो अगर वो बाहर आएंगे environment में, if they start like exploring in the environment, they may have impact on the biodiversity. तो वहां पर you need to take, while doing such experiments, while doing such expansions, such genetic engineering things, you have to take care of biosafety. You have to take all those things. So that is the protocol called by Cartagena. Okay, so it addresses technological developments and transfer. If you have developed a medicine, if you have developed a bioremediation technique, or if you have developed a vaccine, while transferring it, so you need to ensure all these biosafety issues are taken care of. So that is what this protocol is all about. It wants to protect the biological diversity from any potential risk which is posed by a living modified organism through your experiments, through your technological experiments resulting from this modern biotechnology. That is what it wants to do. So that's why this protocol has been signed and it has been adopted by all the members of CBD. Now this is one thing. Second thing is एक और प्रोटोकॉल आया था, that is Niagara protocol. Please remember the names, Cartagena protocol, Niagara protocol. Both of them are kind of developments on the CBD. ठीक है, convention on what? Biological diversity. And this second protocol, Niagara protocol, it's a supplementary to the first one, Cartagena protocol. Cartagena protocol is on biosafety. Niagara protocol, it's on that fair and equitable sharing. कह रहे थे हम, याद है? One of the goals of this CBD is fair and equitable sharing of the benefits. So उनसे related है. When we are doing the genetic engineering or when we are getting the genetic resources, or sometimes, let me tell one more concept related to it, which is called bioprospecting. Prospecting. Simply, what is the meaning of bioprospecting? Once again, I am saying you guys, if you are facing any network issues, simply reload it, it will work. See, from my side, it is working fine. If there is any issue from my side, I'll definitely address it. ठीक? Yes. Bioprospecting का मतलब क्या है? Let me give you one example. See, some of the tribal people, indigenous people, they have a vast knowledge of plants or animals. Suppose they have a knowledge about one medicinal plant which has potential to cure one disease. Now, you will enter into that location, you understand about it, and उसके बाद क्या करेंगे आप? उसका पेटेंट बना देंगे. एक बार पेटेंट इज ए इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट, एक बार पेटेंट मिल गया, then you will have the exclusive right over that particular product, particular resource. अब क्या करेंगे आप? उसका दवाई बनाना स्टार्ट करेंगे. Then you will sell it at a higher prices. At the same time, since you have the exclusive right, you will start denying the same to those indigenous people जिन्होंने आपको नॉलेज दिया है उसके बारे में. अब आप उनको भी बोलेंगे अगर ये वाला चाहिए आपको, मैं दवाई बना रहा हूं, ये खरीद के ले लेना. So what you are doing, you are depriving of their right to use that medicinal plant. At the same time, आपने चोरी कर लिया उसका नॉलेज. सो अंडर दो सर्कमस्टेंसेस दिस चोरी करना, दिस इज कॉल्ड, अगर आपने उनको बेनिफिट्स शेयर नहीं किया है और उनका नॉलेज ही लेकर आप इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी बना के यू आर डूइंग इट, दिस इज कॉल्ड बायोपायरेसी, पायरेसी करना। This should not be there. Rather, in place of this, what should be there? Bioprospecting should be there. That means whatever the knowledge you got it from them. Now, whatever the benefit you are getting out of this knowledge by commercializing this knowledge, by utilizing this knowledge, you should share that fairly and equitably with those indigenous community. That is what it talks about. The third objective. It talks about access to genetic resources. You should give the access to them. You should not hamper them from accessing it. At the same time, you should fairly and equitably share whatever the benefits that you are getting by taking that knowledge. So that is this protocol. This is all about your CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity, and the latest developments such as Cartagena Protocol and Niagara Protocol. इसमें कोई डाउट है तो बताइए, एनी डाउट्स? सी बायो प्रॉस्पेक्टिंग का कॉन्सेप्ट ये है, मतलब अगर कुछ डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है, इफ यू आर गेटिंग द बेनिफिट्स ऑफ इट, जिनकी वजह से आपको वो वाला नॉलेज मिला है, जिनकी वजह से यू आर टेकिंग द कमर्शियल एडवांटेज ऑफ इट, उनको भी साथ साथ डेवलप करो, उनको भी ये वाला बेनिफिट्स जो है वो शेयर करो. दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ बायो प्रॉस्पेक्टिंग. साथ साथ, ठीक है, जिसकी वजह से आपको ये नॉलेज मिला है, जिसकी वजह से आपको ये जेनेटिक रिसोर्सेस मिला है, उनको एक्सेस भी देना है उस जेनेटिक रिसोर्सेस का, और जितना भी आपके पास ये बेनिफिट्स आ रहा है, यू हैव टू शेयर विद देम फेयरली. दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ इट. हरित, इज दैट ओके नाउ? Others, Deepanshu, Lameez, Gunjan, Mariam. Okay, Bhumika, are you present today? Neeraj, Kirti, Abhilash. Any doubt? Okay, cool. So let us go. So with this, that is also done. So far we have covered 3. What are they? Ramsar Convention, and sites, and CBD. See again, CBD कहाँ यूज कर सकते हो? बायोडाइवर्सिटी कंजर्वेशन कहाँ भी आया, यू कैन यूज. बायो सेफ्टी से रिलेटेड, मतलब बायोटेक्नोलॉजी में इफ यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट बायो सेफ्टी, सी यू कैन लिंक दिस. कोरोना वायरस, देयर वर सम डाउट्स इवन नाउ कि कोरोना वायरस इज ए लैब एक्सपेरिमेंट. वो बाहर आ गया, मतलब इट्स एन एलिगेशन. आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि आई एम नॉट कंक्लूसिवली सेइंग कि ये लैब एक्सपेरिमेंट बेस्ड है, बट देर इज एन एलिगेशन, देर इज अ डाउट कि हो सकता है, ठीक है, क्योंकि some things are going on, like some suspicious things are going on. Particular country पे ये allegation है, I'm not going to take the name of that. I don't want to, like already थोड़ा सा what you can say, relations are little bit strained, you know, I don't want to even further create any tensions. ठीक है, allegation है. So under those circumstances you can bring, अगर कार्टेजिना प्रोटोकॉल को फॉलो करेंगे, ऐसे बायोसेफ्टी मेजर्स लेंगे और ऐसे नुकसान नहीं होने देंगे. अगर हो गया तो वी विल होल्ड दैट पर्टिकुलर पार्टी, पर्टिकुलर कंट्री, यू आर द रिस्पॉन्सिबल पर्सन टू द नेसेसिटी. समझ में आए? सो दैट इज वन एग्जांपल, यू कैन हैव इट. ठीक, you can use that in the biosafety wala biotechnology में भी you can bring this here. And the same time in this intellectual property rights जो आपका पेपर 3 में आएगा, वहां पर भी you can use this Niagara protocol वाला. ठीक है. And that indigenous technique, there is one more thing called digital knowledge library. Okay, where this indigenous what do you call the indigenous technology, indigenous knowledge has been digitized, has been stored, and has been commercially utilized. तो वहां पर भी you can bring it here. Okay, clear. Great. Any doubts here? Now let us go to the next convention, which is known as CMS, or Convention on Migratory Species, which is also known as Bonn Convention. Okay, Bonn में हुआ है, जर्मनी. Bonn is in Germany. ठीक है, वहां पर ये वाला कन्वेंशन हुआ है, दैट इज वाई वी कॉल इट एज बॉन कन्वेंशन. So what is the full name of this? It is a convention on the conservation of migratory species of wild animals and birds. Birds are also covered here. So this is the only dedicated convention for birds. ठीक है, birds के लिए है. हाँ, yes, okay, we should no doubt. Any other queries regarding that CBD, Convention of Biological Diversity? The scope, see, look at the applications. जहां जहां पर आपका बायोडाइवर्सिटी कंजर्वेशन है वहां पर आप अप्लाई कर सकते हो. एट द सेम टाइम आई टोल्ड यू 2 पॉइंट्स लाइक बायोसेफ्टी से रिलेटेड, जहां पर बायोटेक्नोलॉजी का डेवलपमेंट होता है, जहां पर लीकेजेस वगैरह का चांस है जेनेटिक इंजीनियरिंग जगह पे, यू कैन ब्रिंग दिस. सी बायोसेफ्टी प्रोटोकॉल ऑफ कार्डिजिना अंडर CBD इज ए वे फॉरवर्ड, इट हैज टू बी अडहर्ड. ऐसे करके एक वे फॉरवर्ड में लिख सकते हो, या वन ऑफ दी मिटिगेशन मेजर्स में लिख सकते हो, कैसे कम कर सकते हैं ऐसे पोटेंशियल रिस्क को. वहां पर यू कैन ब्रिंग दिस कार्टिजिना प्रोटोकॉल. सिमिलरली नयोगा प्रोटोकॉल भी, जहां पर इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स का इंफ्रिंजमेंट होता है या बायोपायरेसी होता है, वहां पर यू कैन ब्रिंग दिस कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ बायो प्रॉस्पेक्टिंग एंड यू कैन टॉक अबाउट कंजर्वेशन ऑफ दिस ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज ऑफ द इंडिजिनस पीपल. वो सब लेकर आ सकते हैं. ठीक है, आर यू गेटिंग राइट? कहां पर ये मेंस में यूज कर सकते हो. प्रीलिम्स मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस डायरेक्टली क्वेश्चंस आ जाएंगे इंफॉर्मेशन बेसिस पे. ठीक है, यस. any other points that you wanted to add, any other doubts that you have? Okay, चलो चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. If you have any doubt, put it in the comment box, I'll address it. ठीक. Yes, we were discussing another convention, which is Convention on Migratory Species, Bonn Convention. So this is the only convention dedicatedly for migratory species. Now coming to migratory species, there are certain species like bring back the concept of homeostasis. जहां पर species they try to regulate, they try to adapt. अगर वो भी नहीं हो पाया, इनहिबिट करेंगे. अगर वो भी नहीं हो पाए तो they will migrate to other location where the conditions are suitable for them. Again जब वहां conditions worst हो जाएंगे तब फिर वापस आ जाएंगे. ठीक. So now these migratory species are not particularly location specific का, ये country specific नहीं है. They be going to cross boundaries, cross countries, एक कंट्री से दूसरा कंट्री पे. अब उनका कंजर्वेशन जो है दैट विल बी ए शेयर्ड रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ 2 or more कंट्रीज. तो उस टाइम पे उनको भी एक साथ लेकर आके उनका कोऑपरेशन कोऑर्डिनेशन बढ़ाना होगा. सो विद दैट इंटेंशन इन बॉन दिस कॉन्फ्रेंस हैज हैपेंड and it is an international treaty concluded under, once again, United Nations Environment Program, under the aegis of United Nations Environment Program. So it was signed in 1979 in a location called Bonn in Germany and came into force in 1983. India is a member to this. Now, as I said, it is the only global and UN based international organization established exclusively for conservation and management of terrestrial, aquatic and avian. avian मतलब जो air based, airborne birds. ठीक है, avian migratory species throughout their range. मतलब there is no restriction throughout the world. Wherever they are migrating, they will be protected, they will be conserved, they will be managed. So that is this convention all about. इसका information कहाँ use कर सकते हो? Okay, there is one, let me address this this doubt one. Any other resources needs to be referred other than class notes for, okay, conventions. You can refer to the online sources. See, there is no one particular source which will provide all the information. See, yesterday night I worked till 1 AM to compile all this information, to update it. See, behind this one more person has worked and that person has sent me the some of the documents, and then I had to review and verify it, and I made it. Okay, I have cross-checked it. I have seen what are the new developments which have happened, and then I put it in this sequential manner. Okay, you can refer to online sources. Either you can open this UNEP, you can see all the conventions under the aegis of UNEP, or if you want I can provide you one link, but थोड़ा updated information नहीं मिल सकता है वहां पर, or you can simply do the googling of that particular one. तो जब गूगल करेंगे आपको आउटडेटेड इन्फॉर्मेशन अपडेटेड इन्फॉर्मेशन सब मिलेगा, देन यू हैव टू लाइक ब्रेनस्टॉर्म एंड मैनेज इट अकॉर्डिंगली, क्या डेवलपमेंट आया है. से एक पर्टिकुलर बुक आई कैन नॉट सजेस्ट बिकॉज देर इज नो सच पर्टिकुलर वन विच इज गिविंग ऑल दिस कन्वेंशंस टुगेदर. ठीक है हरित, इज दैट ओके? यू कैन रेफर टू इंटरनेट सोर्सेस, विल गेट ऑल ऑफ देम. And I'm trying to put them in a systematic manner so that all of your things are like covered in a systematic manner. Yes, ठीक है, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. So this is all about your Bonn Convention. And again कहां पर यूज कर सकते हो? In the conservation of the species, biodiversity, particularly जो migratory species होता है उनके लिए. It may be a flamingo or it may be a falcon, एमोर फॉल्कन्स. ठीक है, सो ऐसे उनका कंजर्वेशन में द रोल ऑफ दिस बॉर्न कन्वेंशन, यू कैन राइट इट. ठीक है, इन योर मेन्स आंसर्स. सो दैट इज ऑल अबाउट बॉर्न कन्वेंशन. नाउ लेट अस गो टू वन मोर इंपॉर्टेंट कन्वेंशन, and under this different protocols have happened. Let us look at it. This is Vienna Convention. So what is this Vienna Convention? This Vienna Convention has been like signed, it was taken for the protection of ozone layer. Now once again I wanted to recall the information related to ozone and ozone layer. See, while discussing the air pollution we have discussed about ozone. So generally we have two types of ozones. One is the ground level ozone, please recall them. Another one is the ozone which is available in the stratosphere, which is the second layer of atmosphere, troposphere के ऊपर ट्रासोस्फीयर. And I told you जो ग्राउंड लेवल का ओजोन होता है it is a pollutant, it is harmful and polluting agent, pollutant. इसका बैड इम्पैक्ट्स वगैरह भी वहां पर स्टडी किया था, जस्ट रेफर टू दैट एयर पोल्यूशन वाला नोट्स. And another ozone which is present in the in the stratosphere, this is a good one. There is a layer of ozone which is present in stratosphere and it does the filtering of UV rays, filter कर देता है, and as a result of it many skin diseases or cancers they are stopped. So that's why this ozone layer or ozone which is present in the stratosphere, that is a good one, and that layer needs to be protected, that needs to be conserved. That is our motive. Now during this time, because of the use of ozone depleting substances, ozone layer started depleting and there is a hole in the ozone layer and the hole was expanding, and that was a cause of concern for all the people, all the species on the planet Earth. So tab jakar there was a convention which has happened in Vienna for protection of this ozone layer. It was agreed in 1985, and here global monitoring and reporting on the ozone depletion has established, and they started measuring कि कितना तेजी से ये वाला ओजोन लेयर डिप्लीट हो रहा है, what is the status of it. They started monitoring it, and then they also created a framework for developing the protocols for taking a more binding actions for the conservation of ozone layer. They started doing this. ठीक, तो उसमें in that series the first protocol which came into being is known as Montreal Protocol. Montreal is a location which is in Canada. It came into being. So now what is the main motive of this? It is to protect that ozone layer. उसको प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए क्या करना होगा? Whatever the substances that are depleting the ozone layer, that are destroying the ozone, particularly in the stratosphere level, उसको कम करना है, उसको खत्म ही करना है, पॉसिबल है तो उसको रिप्लेस ही करना है. That is the idea behind it. So with that idea, say under the Vienna Convention, Montreal Protocol was agreed in 1987. 1985 में Vienna Convention आया, 1987 में Montreal Protocol आया. and the main motive of it is to facilitate the global cooperation among all the member parties in reversing, मतलब जो भी चेंजेस हो रहा है, जो भी ओजोन डिप्लीशन हो रहा है, उसको रिवर्स करना चाहते थे हम, in reversing a rapid decline in the atmospheric concentration of ozone, मतलब stratospheric concentration of ozone, रिवर्स करके ओजोन का कंसंट्रेशन एनहांस करना चाहते थे हम. That is the main motive of this Montreal Protocol. So for that, they started, like when they are doing this research and when they are finding that monitoring and reporting what are the reasons behind it, they have done the research and they found what are the different substances which are causing this ozone depletion. It came out to be certain chemicals such as chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs. They found that these are the substances which are rapidly declining the stratospheric ozone. Now, under this protocol, they have agreed, all the parties, they have agreed that let us phase them out. Let us completely remove them. Let us replace them with some other good products, good chemicals, which does not destroy the ozone layer. That was the decision taken. Now here, what are these CFCs, where they are used? Generally, they are used in refrigerators, coolants, ACs and all other places. तो उनको उनका यूज जो है वो कम करना स्टार्ट किया था, उनको फेज आउट करना चाहते थे. अगर फेज आउट करना है, यू नीड टू फाइंड ए रिप्लेसिंग सब्सटेंस. इसको अभी हम बात करते हैं, एग्जांपल दे रहा हूं, प्लास्टिक रिप्लेस करना चाहते हैं हम, तभी रिप्लेस हो पाएगा जब रिप्लेसेबल प्रोडक्ट आए और उसको कंप्लीटली हटा दे और उतना ही इफेक्टिवनेस के साथ ये काम करने लगे, तभी तो हम रिप्लेस कर सकते हैं. तो देन दे स्टार्टेड लुकिंग फॉर अल्टरनेटिव्स. वन ऑफ द सच अल्टरनेटिव दे फाउंड इज HFCs or HCFCs, hydrochloro fluorocarbons or hydrofluorocarbons. They found that these things, these compounds, these chemicals, they are good. They are not going to deplete the ozone layer. Now, in place of all the CFCs under this protocol, they started replacing them with HFCs. And this convention, Montreal Protocol, is the first and only, please remember this fact, only global environmental treaties which got the universal ratification, meaning all the parties of United Nations organization, they have signed it. So with those coordinated efforts, with that phasing out of CFCs and adopting to HFCs, now there is a reversal of depleting in the ozone layer, ozone hole जो है, it started recovering. ठीक है, it started coming back again. So that is well and good. They had a long term कि अगर ऐसे ही चला तो we can bring back whatever the depleted ozone layer, that we can bring it back. But अब यहां पर एक हेडेक स्टार्ट हुआ था. क्या है? जो CFCs को रिप्लेस करके आपका HFCs आया है, even though they are good for ozone, they are not depleting the ozone, they are good for it, but the main problem is they are very potential greenhouse gases. Yesterday under climate change I have explained what is a greenhouse gas and what is the meaning of it. ठीक है, I'll address that, Harith, just in a second. ठीक है, now it is a potential greenhouse gas. Yesterday I have given you the comparative potential of HFCs. They have potential anywhere close to 100 times to even 10,000 times of carbon dioxide. ठीक है, ये वाला कल देखा था हमने, depending upon the nature of that HFC. ठीक. Now because of this, what is happening? The global warming is increasing at an alarming rate. As a result, the average temperatures are increasing. उसको कम करना है हम. That has become a even severe headache. अगर ये वाला trend continuously हुआ है तो then there will be severe climate change and we will completely lose all the biodiversity and everything. तब ओजोन लेयर रहने से भी कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. इतना सीरियस लेवल पे जा रहा है ये वाला ग्लोबल वार्मिंग, क्लाइमेट चेंज. इसलिए then they thought that कि अब HFCs जो है, even though they are friendly to the ozone layer, but they are very harmful to the global warming. सो उनको भी हटाना चाहिए हमें. So with that idea, there came an amendment to this Montreal Protocol, which is known as Kigali Amendment. ठीक है. So Kigali is the capital city of Rwanda, and here all the member nations, like 197 member nations, they have agreed, they have signed that let us go with this Kigali Amendment and let us amend this Montreal Protocol. Let us phase out not only CFCs, also HFCs. HFCs को भी रिड्यूस करेंगे हम, क्योंकि ये हाइड्रोफ्लोरोकार्बन्स जो है दे आर like producing lot of global warming effect, and if it continues we will have serious problem. So they said by the year 2045 let us phase it out, almost 80 to 85% जो है वो reduce कर देंगे. Let us reduce them. So with that idea, like by reducing it, they were expecting only if we can reduce these HFCs, we can reduce the rise in this temperature by almost 0.5 degrees centigrade. Look at it. आपका पेरिस अग्रीमेंट जो है 2 डिग्रीज का बात करता है, 2 डिग्रीज सेंटीग्रेड जो है उतना तक लिमिट करना है राइज को, ठीक है, प्री इंडस्ट्रियल लेवल पे. और आउट ऑफ इट 0.5 is contributed. You can like just going phasing out your HFCs, you can bring down by 0.5 degrees. It's a very significant number, right? Almost 25%. So that is when more emphasis has been put on them, and legally binding decision ले लिया है कि we will phase it out, we will reduce. Now here India का position देखो, India uses very less number of HFCs, only 3% in the global level. Whereas when it compared to like nations like USA and China, they have 37%, 25%. They have to do even better work here. ठीक. So India is also committed with that goal. We are also replacing HFCs. तो अगर replace करना है तो इसका भी कुछ alternative मिलना चाहिए हमें. That alternative should be in such a manner that that alternative should take care of what? Two things. One is it should not harm anything to ozone layer. At the same time you should not have any impact on the global warming. अगर even है भी तो बहुत ही कम होना चाहिए. So that is our ideal requirement. उसी के हिसाब से there are some substances which we found which are called HFOs as an alternative to these HFCs. What are they? See, HFO stands for hydrofluoroolefins. Please remember this. Olefins. I think when I was discussing about this in the class, one of you was asking me. One of you asking me, sir, HFCs का क्या alternative है? This is the alternative to HFCs. So here we can use them alternative to HFCs, and we can take care of both ozone layer depletion at the same time your global warming gas, global warming effect. ठीक. So this is all about your Montreal Protocol and Kigali Amendment to it. Now look at this journey, like a journey of HFCs. I have put it on a time scale. See, this one, like Montreal Protocol, happened in 1987, and here Vienna Convention has happened in 1985. Then things are happening, and here came 1997 Kyoto Protocol. अभी डिस्कस नहीं किया, आगे वाला सेशन में डिस्कस करने वाला हूँ Kyoto Protocol. Then it continued, and in 2016 latest we have taken a Kigali Amendment to the Montreal Protocol, noticing that this HFCs, they are very dangerous to global warming. See, this is the time when we have agreed upon that Paris Agreement, COP21, Paris Agreement and Sustainable Developmental Goals, which have emphasized more on reducing the global average rise of temperatures. That is when this Kigali Amendment came into picture, that इसको कम करेंगे तो by alone this we can achieve up to 0.5 degrees of reduction in the global average temperatures. So that is how the development has happened here. Now this is all about your Vienna Convention, ozone depleting substances, Montreal Protocol, Kigali Amendment. और ये information कहाँ यूज कर सकते हो? एयर पोल्यूशन की जगह ओजोन पोल्यूशन की जगह, ओजोन डिप्लीशन लेयर, ओजोन लेयर डिप्लीशन की जगह, क्लाइमेट चेंज की जगह, ग्लोबल वार्मिंग की जगह, you can bring like global warming की जगह you can put this Kigali amendment is a way forward. It wants to reduce, it wants to phase out systematically HFCs, which are potential greenhouse gases. So that is how you can use this information in your mains answer writing. Okay, is there any doubt? See, with that our lecture has come to an end. I thought of including one or two more, but I thought maybe we may not be going this fast, but you guys are catching it faster, so we are able to cover it. Okay, anyway, I'll give a brief introduction of some other things. Okay, so in between let me address your doubts. I think in between so many things came. The first one is any impact of intense artificial light emitted by anthropogenic activities on ozone layer in any form. हाँ हरित, होता है, impact होता है, right? There is an impact, and particularly look at this. You might have heard about polar vortex, and from here stratospheric polar stratospheric clouds, polar stratospheric clouds. See, these clouds also enhances the reactivity of these CFCs, and they enhance depletion of ozone. Okay? And your point is what? Artificial light emitted by anthropogenic activities. See, directly or indirectly, artificial lighting, if you are getting, that means you are somehow or other way you are emitting these pollutants or not. So those pollutants, directly or indirectly, they have an impact on it. So that's the meaning of it. Global warming increase the heat. Yes, it increases, Neeraj. ग्लोबल वार्मिंग, ग्लोबल एवरेज टेम्परेचर का और ग्लोबल एवरेज हीट इंक्रीज करता है. यस, HFCs. Daya, why India unable to use HFCs? See, we use, but the amount of HFCs India is using when you are comparing it on the global scale, it's very less. See, India, how many people are using AC as a as a what you can say, as a minimum living standard? AC is considered as a luxury in India क्योंकि उतना डेवलपमेंट नहीं है. बट यहाँ पर USA या चाइना, in those locations, it's a like minimum standard level. If more and more ACs, more and more refrigerators are being used, that means more and more HFCs and CFCs. CFCs तो नहीं यूज करते हैं, HFCs are being used. More and more coolants, more and more HFCs. इंडिया में इतना नहीं है, इसलिए the global level or global contribution of HFCs used by India is very less. Daya, is that clear? Second, your point is HFCs is slightly better than CFCs. Of course, from the perspective of ozone layer depletion, they are good, they are better. But from the perspective of global warming, they are not. Okay? So that is the condition. That is the condition. Yes. So with that, whatever the intention that we wanted to see, Ramsar Convention, CITES, CBD, Bonn Convention, which is also known as Convention on Migratory Species, CMS, and Vienna Convention for protecting the ozone layer. Then followed by it came your Montreal Protocol. And here in the Montreal Protocol also in 2016, the Kigali Amendment. We have seen it. Maybe these things may come in the like further में रखा हूँ यहाँ पर. Maybe see Nayoga Protocol also we have discussed 2010 में जो आया था. Similarly, Cartagena Protocol and biosafety. See, both of them also bring it here. Both of them are part of what? Bio CBD. So in 2000 there is Cartagena. Let me write Cartagena Protocol. Why this protocol was there? It is for biosafety. Okay, then in 2010 there was like one more protocol which is known as Nayoga protocol. Why this was there? It is to ensure fair and equitable sharing. This is also done. We have done this, so let me tick them as well. ये दोनों भी कवर कर रखा है हमने. Then one more thing which we have covered is Kigali Amendment of 2016, which is an amendment to Montreal Protocol. These are the things that we have covered so far. In the coming class, let us go to Kyoto Protocol and UNFCCC and Rio Summit of 1992 and United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, and similarly Basel Convention, Rotterdam Convention, Stockholm Convention, all these things. Okay, so maybe like we will take 2 or 3 sessions at max, I'm thinking. So tomorrow also we will try to cover as many conventions as possible and try to collect or try to connect with the static portions that we have seen earlier. ठीक. So now yes, एक और चीज है. Gunjan, Ramsar convention list, tell about some important names to learn it in an easy way. Which names you want me to tell? Like I have given you all the list of 46, updated list of 46 sites, Gunjan. Are you asking me to like a way to remember these? See, Ratna, I am against to Ratna. Okay, I don't suggest mugging the things up. Even if you ask me, I don't even remember all 46. But when you are doing it, when you are reading it again and again, mostly almost 46 I can recall. Not exactly I can say, almost I can recall. So that has happened because I have been constantly revising it, constantly looking at them, looking at their provisions and looking at their features. That's how I came to remember them. ठीक, like Bill in Assam, okay, that see wherever it is possible वहां पर बता दूंगा मैं. अगर पॉसिबल नहीं है वहां पर धक्के से I cannot make that mnemonic, right? So that is one thing I can tell you. Okay, just go by the state. You can make these mnemonics by yourself, whatever the way that is suitable to you. See, ये सारे 46 की 46 याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगा आपको. कोई भी आपको ये नहीं पूछेंगे कि come on, read out or come on, simply what you can say, recite all the Ramsar sites in India. Nobody is going to ask you. But remembering them, at least अगर वो नाम आया तो स्ट्राइक करना चाहिए. हाँ, it is a Ramsar site or it is not a Ramsar site, or at least ये कहाँ पर है. सुल्तानपुर हरियाणा, ठीक है, बिंदावास हरियाणा, तोल गुजरात, ठीक है, ऐसे ब्यास पंजाब, तो ऐसे बैतारकनिका उड़ीसा, पुलिकाट यू हैव टू लाइक कोलेरू आंध्र प्रदेश, ठीक है, पॉइंट कलिमरी तमिलनाडु, अन्नमुडी यू कैन गो टू लाइक अष्टमुडी यू कैन गो टू केरला. ऐसे नाम आ जाना चाहिए और नाम के साथ साथ उसका लोकेशन कहाँ पर पॉसिबल है. ठीक है, भील असम, लोकतक लेक मणिपुर, ऐसे ऐसे नेम्स आना चाहिए. ठीक है, and some of them like Bose wetland and East Kolkata, they themselves saying Bose मतलब भोपाल के पास and East कोलकाता means कोलकाता में, ठीक है, वेस्ट बंगाल में. तो ऐसे अपने आप आ जाएगा. ठीक है, and yes, Gunjan, is that point clear? If you are expecting me to tell you all the like how to remember all 46, I'm sorry, I have to disappoint you. I don't have a tablet कि दवाई दे दूं आपको सारे 46 याद हो जाए. So there is no such thing here. Yes. Okay, any other doubts? We still have 10 minutes of time where you can ask me the doubts from this particular session, even if it is like related to answer rating. You are getting the points, right? How we are able to connect these points for your answer rating, these conventions to your answer rating. और वो फ्लो बन रहा है ना आपको यहाँ पर रैंडमली, मतलब यू आर नॉट गेटिंग द फीलिंग कि रैंडमली कोई भी कन्वेंशन उठा रहे हैं हम पढ़ रहे हैं, ऐसे नहीं है. आई एम ट्राइंग टू कनेक्ट इट. ठीक है, आई एम ट्राइंग टू कनेक्ट इट. अगर वियना कन्वेंशन है उसके बाद जो डेवलपमेंट्स हो गया वो वहीं पर कवर कर दिया, लाइक मॉन्ट्रियल हो सकता है, किगाली. सिमिलरली बायो सेफ्टी से लाइक बायोडाइवर्सिटी कन्वेंशन ऑन बायोडाइवर्सिटी बायोलॉजिकल डाइवर्सिटी, उससे रिलेटेड जो डेवलपमेंट्स है अमेंडमेंट्स है इमीडिएटली प्रोटोकॉल जो है उसी के साथ साथ पढ़ रहे हैं हम. तो आई होप यू आर गेटिंग दैट कनेक्शन. ठीक है. यस. एनी अदर डाउट्स? Yes, let these conventions and all be over. Then I will start giving you the questions for your answer writing. क्योंकि it's been a long time since I have given the question because structure ही कुछ ऐसे कर रखा है. अगर इसके बिना ये वाला information के बिना if I give you the questions, you may not get that entire picture. That is the reason why I could not give you. Now once this is done, since we are entering into it, now we can have the questions. ठीक है. See, you can take the previous year questions to practice your answers क्योंकि कुछ questions यहाँ से directly आ जाएंगे. ठीक है. So by the end of this topic you will be like with respect to environmental protection, conservation and biodiversity you will be having sound knowledge. You can be able to answer all of them. Then there will be one particular topic, a miscellaneous topic, which is known as environmental impact assessment, EIA. इससे रिलेटेड काफी क्वेश्चंस आता है. इस टॉपिक को सेपरेटली डील करेंगे, नॉट हियर. ठीक है. That is where we will understand about all of them. Yes, there is some lag. I have to wait for your comments. ठीक है. It's not like a real time one. Okay, let me give you a brief introduction about the next one which we are going to understand, that is Kyoto Protocol. If you have no doubt, let me discuss about Kyoto Protocol. See, Kyoto Protocol, I'm going to discuss the objectives. I'm not going to completely go into it as of now. ठीक है. उसमें थोड़ा प्रोविजंस के बारे में we will separately, like next session में separately detailly पढ़ेंगे. See, this is mainly to take care of your carbon emissions, to reduce the carbon emissions. इसमें भी like it has like common but differentiated goals or differentiated roles. उस बेसिस पे चलता है ये. मतलब there are some common responsibilities but they are differentiated based on the development of a nation. मतलब कौन सा नेशन कितना डेवलप्ड है. अगर डेवलप्ड है तो उनके ऊपर ज्यादा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी रखना. सॉरी, डेवलपिंग है या रिसेंट टाइम्स में डेवलप्ड है उनके ऊपर कम रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी रखना, और लीस्ट डेवलप्ड है उनके ऊपर कोई भी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं रखा है. सो विद दैट डिफरेंशियल ट्रीटमेंट के साथ ये वाला कन्वेंशन बना था. ठीक है. इसका भी कुछ अमेंडमेंट्स आया है. एंड इन दिस generally for this purpose it has been divided into annexure A, annexure B and non-annexure countries. annexure A, annexure B and non-annexure countries ऐसे डिवाइड करके उसके ऊपर बाइंडिंग टारगेट्स and non-binding targets and no targets ऐसे करके differential responsibilities रखा है. ठीक है. and this one is the first step in order to tackle your कार्बन एमिशंस. और जो आपका अभी जो पेरिस एग्रीमेंट बनाया है, इट वाज, यू कैन से इट इज अ फर्दर स्टेप ऑन दिस, वेयर इंस्टेड ऑफ कॉमन बट डिफरेंशिएटेड responsibilities, common, say CBDR, instead of this we have gone with INDCs in your Paris agreement, where intended nationally determined contributions. Instead of responsibilities we are calling it as contributions. You contribute आपसे जितना हो सकता है according to your technology, according to your financial position, you contribute जितना हो सकता है उतना. So on that line we have gone with the Paris agreement. ठीक. So that is what we will be understanding in the next day's class. ठीक है. Now there is one doubt. Mayank, what is digital knowledge library? Mayank, simply say it is an initiative of the government. जो indigenous people होते हैं ना, ट्राइबल पीपल या अबोरिजिनल पीपल या लोकल पीपल, उनके पास कुछ ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज होता है, ठीक है। एक्चुअली इट इज ए ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज लाइब्रेरी, सो दैट ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज हैज टू बी डॉक्यूमेंटेड। वरना तो क्या होगा, अगर वो पीपल जिनको ये नॉलेज के बारे में पता है, इफ दे डाई, इफ दे वैनिश, उनके साथ साथ ये वाला नॉलेज भी चला जाएगा, एंड वे मे लूज some of the traditional medicines or traditional knowledge to tackle a disease or something, or conservation से related भी जो knowledge होता है, that we may lose it. So for that government is what is doing, ये जो traditional knowledge है, it is trying to document it. डॉक्यूमेंट करके, मतलब प्रॉपर रिटन फॉर्म में डॉक्यूमेंट करके, उसमें जिस जिसका कमर्शियली एक्सप्लॉइटिंग, कमर्शियली अवेलेबिलिटी और कमर्शियली फीजिबिलिटी होता है, उनको कमर्शियल स्केल पे डेवलप करना चाहते हैं। And in that process, whatever the benefits that they are getting, that will be shared with these people who have given that knowledge. So that is the concept of your traditional knowledge library. एक बार आया था 10 मार्क्स के लिए, आया था यूपीएससी में ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज लाइब्रेरी के बारे में। यस, इज दैट क्लियर मयंक? इज द आइडिया क्लियर? एनी डाउट इन दैट? Now since we are in the middle of this peak where air pollution in Delhi is at the peak, now you can appreciate the things that we have discussed during air pollution. See, जो mitigation things जो हम discuss कर रहे थे, ठीक है, like stubble burning से related issue or vehicular pollution issue or construction activity issue. Already the government, have you seen the newspaper lately, like last 2-3 days में newspaper देखा है आपने? Supreme Court has called upon the center and the Delhi government, ठीक है। Okay, I'll explain Gunjan, just a second. So वहां पर देखो 2-3 days न्यूज़पेपर में, if you see, दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट को भी बुलाया, and then they were asking like, are you playing with the lives of the people? Then center government, state government, the government of Delhi, both of them given the explanation. In that they said, दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट ये इतना तक भी कहा है कि अगर सिचुएशन वर्स हो रहा है, वी आर रेडी टू इम्प्लीमेंट इवन कंप्लीट लॉकडाउन, ठीक है। तो वो भी दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट ने सजेस्ट किया था, and center government is saying कि we will come up with a plan of action, and you might already seen this, बहुत सारी जगह पे this anti smog guns जो हमने डिस्कस किया था, anti smog guns, they are being operated. Let me show you the image, you can recall it, you might have seen it. anti smog gun, see water tank होता है, water tank के ऊपर जैसे simple वाटर इज गेटिंग, हाँ ऐसे वाला इमेजेस देखा है दिल्ली में, इवन यस्टरडे आई वाज ट्रैवलिंग, आई हैव सीन दिस, दे आर डूइंग इट, ठीक है। देयर बाय जो, लेट मी ओपन दिस, ये वाला, ठीक। सो देयर बाय दे आर लाइक, दे आर लाइक रिड्यूसिंग दैट पार्टिकुलेट मैटर एंड द पोल्यूशन एंड ऑल, लाइक बारिश जैसे होता है ना, उस टाइम पे जैसे सेटल हो जाता है वैसे कर रहा है, कोशिश कर रहा है। So these things you can now visibly see it, and जो एक्शन हमने डिस्कस किया था, graded response action plan, graded response action plan, this also you can see it now because it is going to be implemented. Maybe if the situation goes like this, by December or January we even may have this odd even policy, वो भी आ सकता है, possibility is there, ठीक। Now coming to you Gunjan, it's not clear, carbon sequestration diagram, don't go with the diagram, that diagram I have given just for a reference to show you how the carbon, like carbon cycle में, how this carbon emissions can vary from atmosphere to plants to the earth, ठीक है। सिंपल कार्बन सिक्वेस्ट्रेशन का प्रोसेस यही है, जो एटमॉस्फेयर में जो कार्बन है, दैट वी वांटेड टू कैप्चर इट, मतलब वी वांटेड टू कैप्चर इट एंड हाइड इट, so that is carbon sequestration. It can be done by doing the mass plantations, क्योंकि plants का natural tendency होता है कार्बन को ऑब्जर्व करके कुछ बना के अपने अंदर छुपाने का, it may be food, it may be cellulose or it may be any other material. And another techniques like artificial techniques भी है, उसको कैप्चर करो, लेकर जाके अर्थ के अंदर उसको छुपा दो, so that technique we are calling it as carbon sequestration. Okay, I hope, Gunjan, that process is clear now. Then, can they have patent on the medicinal treatments and medicines? Yes, they can, they can. But the problem is these tribal people, indigenous people, they do not have that much of information. अगर होता तो अब तक क्यों वेट करेंगे? They would have done this. They would have already done this. Vishu, ठीक है? Oh, sorry, Vishu नहीं, Ritika. They would have already done this. They can, they can. They see patenting is open to anybody. Anybody can file a patent. ठीक है? Yes, Vishu. Anybody means citizens का बात कर. Carbon sequestration is the long-term process to restore carbon plants. Yes, yes. Okay, your statement. Yes, that is the process, Gunjan. Vishu has commented that. I hope that clarified your doubt. Now, any other doubts? If no, we can wind it up here and we can meet it in the next session. I hope this mode of interaction is also okay with you. Like we had like close to 17-18 physical classes, then we are taking this 1 or 2 online classes because of the guidelines of government. Okay, so if it is restored, then once again we will have that physical classes. Okay, thank you very much, guys. See you tomorrow, I mean in the next session, and have a nice day.